Hi, good evening. My name is Jay Rothman, and I am the host of Real Men, Real Talk Live. Welcome back to the show. Again, my name is Jay Rothman. I am host, and in the show this evening in the studio, we have Mr. Jeff Fasano coming in from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to the program, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Rothman.
Well, thank you for the respect. We have the beloved last week.
Beloved, baby.
Just beloved. Last week is gone. We'll stay with Charles Maddox coming in from Tampa, Florida. And, of course, we have the man of the land from down under, Evers Love Heath, coming in from Australia. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Good evening.
I feel like we're a little light right now because, unfortunately, Josh Richard is somewhere in a bubble in the United States on production set for a major TV show. Yeah. And he was hoping able to make it in tonight, but it looks like it's not going to happen. So it's a foursome night.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a foursome. I've had I'm not talking.
Oh, beloved, what a start.
There we go.
Is that enough?
That's right. Is that enough?
There we go. Well, before we get into hearing that answer from Charles, I'd like to just take a moment to thank the audience, the viewers and listeners that join us live tonight. If you catch us on replay, you're right on time. If you should hear something that you like or love with love, gently push the love button and light us up. Feel free to ask any questions, comment away. Your questions and your comments you are part of this interactive show. Yeah. And so I cannot believe one more week in 2020 has passed us by. It's amazing. It feels like it was just a couple of 24 hours ago that we were live having a conversation last week. But this week brings us to another topic where last week we really dissected what the word craving means. And by the time we were done in the show, we had some hesitation in really dropping a word from our vocabulary. So tonight's show is about the word enough. And the question, when we were in our pre-show meeting on Tuesday, we decided to go with this topic. And the topic was really, is it about, am I enough? That was one of the titles. Another title was,
I am enough.
I am enough. Right. One is, am I enough? I am enough. And another one may even be, enough is enough.
Okay.
Right? There's so many ways that we have used that word and abused that word in the English language. And so what I'd like to do tonight is invite Jeff Fasano to kick us off. Yes. Last week, Charles was in a hot seat.
I was. Yeah.
But tonight, Jeff, I'm going to invite you to kick us off with the topic and with the word, the saying, I am enough. What does it mean to you, and how have you navigated through those questions in your life?
It's actually, for me, it's one of my biggest challenges to know that me as who I am. So we were just talking before we went live about the word enough. And when I bring it back to myself, is I who I am enough for me? And it's been one of my biggest challenges in life to know that I am enough, I'm good enough, I'm worthy enough to have what I say I want, to have the love in my life that I say I want, to receive love. So maybe this is another word by the end of this show that we put on the shelf, so to speak. But I really think it comes down to, as everything does and everything we've spoken about in all of these shows, is our self-worthiness, our self-love, and how much we honor and value ourselves. And that is that's where the word enough comes from. Am I enough for me? Not for you, not for anything outside of ourselves. We were talking earlier about the wounding inside of ourselves and how maybe this self-love, this honoring and valuing ourselves is not where it should be or where it could be. And we're always looking outside of ourselves to fill up a mythical emptiness or an emptiness we feel inside of ourselves. So we have to constantly fill that up. And many feel that they're filling it up from outside of themselves with stuff, with more money, with more things, a bigger house, another car, a more expensive car. All of this is going to make me feel worthy, feel enough. So when I think of the word enough or ask the question, am I enough? Is there something inside of us where we haven't fully reached a place of loving and honoring ourselves that deeply to know that I'm enough for me? I love myself enough that I am enough for me, that I don't have to look outside of myself to fill anything up anymore. And then who I am right now, who I am being right now is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I want to put up here, Jeff, just to take a moment here, just to acknowledge Chad Fox, as many people wonder if they're enough for others instead of being enough for themselves. I'm going to just take a moment here, Ev, to invite you to kind of give your perspective on this. It's a question statement, you know. He's clearly making a statement, but there's definitely a question behind this. Because he says many people wonder if they're enough for others, if they are enough for others, instead of being enough for themselves.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ev, is behind that challenge as Chad bringing to the show right now?
Thanks for that, brother. Chad out there in the collective and all our brothers and sisters always on the other side of the pond here in the land down under. Thank you for having me on a Real Men Real Talk live with my brothers tonight. Look, it's a good question to get things rolling, and as Jeff sort of hinted on there, he's talking a little bit about, you know, many people wonder if they're enough for others instead of being enough for themselves. And I think we've got to really dissect straight away that this is an inside job. You know, for far too long, we have been awaiting the validation, the agreement. We've been giving our energy away to other people, places, and things to wonder if we're enough, to wonder if we're worthy, wonder if we're valuable. But isn't enough enough? Brothers and sisters, haven't you had enough? Enough of seeking validation from the external world? You know, I talked a little bit about this on a video the other day, and I was talking a little bit about giving ourselves now permission to succeed, bring love, joy, and happiness into our lives every second, every moment, in the now, not based on something external, not based on that person that wanted you, them to love you in your life, not based on that new job that's bringing in the cash money for you to bring you some value into your life, but based on here, based from within. And look, this is all easy in saying that I am enough, but is enough enough? You know, we really need to understand this word. I touched on it in a video this morning that, like our brother Jeff Fonsano said last week, man, we were dissecting that word craving. And as I thought a little bit more about that, you know, a lot of these words, they need to be dunked here right now. And, you know, I'm guessing on tonight on a Real Men Real Talk live, as we dive in deep with my brothers, we're going to really get to the bottom of this word, because I'm just looking at the meaning of that word enough. And it says in our dictionary, as much or as many as required. Just sit on that for a second. As much or as many as required. Can you not see that this is limited? This is a restricted word. Enough's enough. We need to get back into unlimited potential of seeing things as possibilities. Because when we see one thing as possible, but on the other spectrum, we see another thing as not possible, boom, that's where we stop. We define our reality based on the not possible. So I'm looking forward to diving into this deep tonight, brothers and sisters. So actually questions out there, man. That's a great question to start us off. Thanks for that, Chad.
Yeah.
Real quick, Mary says required by who?
Sorry, can you just elaborate on that, Mary? Required by who? Required, I would say, just by looking at that, your higher self, your higher knowing, your I amness, this beingness of who we truly have the ability to be right now here on planet Earth. Because the ego mind, it doesn't want to change. It wants to be based on the wounding of the past. So we have to really need to conscious parently, like we've always said, this inner child, get past some of these wounds and realize that enough is enough. Let's get to more than enough in life.
Beautiful.
That's pure abundance and that's pure prosperity.
Love that, Ev. Real quick, I've had some comments that my audio has been choppy. I changed my mic. Can someone just drop a note and let me know if it's better? What's that?
Sound great to me.
Sound good to me.
Well, it sounds good to me too, but that's not other people's reality that are out as viewers. Yeah. And after saying you're choppy too, I don't know if you want to drop off and come back in.
Yeah,
well, you may want to give that a shot while we invite the beloved to share your
I got some stuff to say, man, you know. So, you know, it's really interesting when we think about that because it has so many spins to it. It really does. And when I think of it, it kind of, you know, it kind of opens up a door to what people may, if we allow ourselves to be out there, right, where we put our feelings and emotions out there, and someone doesn't reciprocate or treat us the way we should be, then we could definitely question ourselves, right? Because if that person didn't have the right intentions, then of course we would question ourselves, is our enough really enough? You know, I think that I look at it, you know, from more perspective of I know my value, I know my worth. So if I enter into a relationship or a friendship or whatever ship it may be, I know my value, I know my worth. If that person is not reciprocating and doesn't see that, then they're not where we need to be. They didn't see what we need to see. And I have a lot of people that say at times, Charles, you know what, man, you don't see what we see in you, but I still see value in myself. I still see that I am enough, and I don't question that. And if I do have to look around and question that, it's maybe I'm not with the right person, right? Maybe I'm not in the right situation because I know my value and the right people will see my value, and that enough is my enough, and I keep it moving. But I can see where, you know, Donna had mentioned something about people didn't see her enough value, whatever it was. But once again, you should know who you are. You should understand what you bring to whatever table it may be. And if those around you don't see you're enough, then you're right. You're definitely not around the right people. And don't worry about that. Let those people fall by the wayside. But also, me, I have a bit of vanity with me. You know what? Because even though I get beat up every day in this work that I do, trying to make TV shows and save lives and advocacy and all of this stuff like that, but I have to have a bit of vanity, right? If you ever look at Muhammad Ali, even though he would fight, he would talk a lot of crap. Why? because he had to build himself up. He had to keep himself up. He had to realize and let people realize that he was the baddest man on the planet. If somebody does not see your value, if somebody can let you go by the wayside because they don't see your value, it's okay. Your enough is enough for you. Keep being the best you that you can be. Keep being the most amazing person that you can be. Keep giving those gifts and those love potions and those amazing things that you can put out to the universe. And your enough is enough. You don't ever have to question that, because the right person will see you as exactly what you are. And even if they don't, once again, you know that you could look in that mirror and say, man, I'm enough. I'm enough for God. I'm enough for my loved ones. I'm enough for my children. I'm enough for those who see what I bring to the table. So maybe that's just how I see it. That's how I'm driving.
Beautiful, beautiful. Charles, bringing it home tonight. Yeah, one more time. Wow. Dang. Wow, I'm going to say cheers to you, Charles. Ooh. Right there, brother.
Yeah, brother.
My little tequila, baby.
Well, you know, you're drinking the strongest stuff tonight. I'm drinking some herbal teas this evening.
And I got my greens here, brothers.
Yeah, just a splash of green mint in it. You know, here's my answer to all that. I'm gonna break it down for you guys.
Break it down, JJ.
It's just right there. It's enough is enough.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that most of us got a download when we were children, when we were younger. We either heard someone speak to us words that felt toxic, felt hurtful, or we received unspoken words through behavior. It could have been at home by a parent, a sibling, an extended relative, even like a grandparent. And it also took place at school. It could have been one teacher or multiple teachers. And when it wasn't a teacher, it could have been playground politics. And we don't have to have had significant trauma to get the message, which was questioning, are we enough? Are we smart enough? Are we good looking enough? Are we skinny enough? Are we big enough? Are we intelligent enough? Are we lovable enough? And I could probably come up with 10 more enoughs that we would question. And it all goes back to our younger years. So as a 59-year-old, I've been working on breaking the chain to that part of myself that questioned areas in my life, self-doubt, that eventually becomes self-sabotage. So really the question comes down to is, you know, as I was on the trails this week coaching a beautiful young lady, and at one point she got just emotional in a very beautiful way. And for me, my interpretation was that she brought herself back to, she was able to get in touch with her younger self in nature in that moment with me. And the tears, some of it were tears of, I think, just acknowledging that as an adult, she's been ignoring that child's needs. And I do believe it's a common thread that I see with so many clients that I coach is that they're battling that inner battle of the tapes, the old downloads, what they saw or what they heard that became the truth. So here's the question for you guys. As an adult, at any age, how do we break it? How do we break the relationship to those statements, to those threads within us that are holding us back, that are hurting us, that are preventing us from being the person that we were born to be? Which is exactly who we are at our core. So, yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna bring it back to you to kind of kick us off on this question. How do we rank it?
You know what? Before I answer that question, Jay, you just talked about all the things that we might have heard when we were younger, or 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 years old. What about what we didn't hear?
Go ahead, Jeff.
What about what we didn't hear?
Go ahead, Jeff.
From mom and dad. A lot of the not good enough, or I'm not enough, I'm not worthy enough, is because we never received the nurturing from mom and dad when we were that age. We never heard you're good enough. We never heard you're worthy enough. We never heard you're fantastic. We never heard that you're wonderful and fantastic the way you are. So I'm looking at, because that's my challenge. It was what I didn't hear when I was growing up, never hearing it. So for me and for many people out there, it's what we didn't hear. So what we have to do to shift and change this is we have to go in and reparent that child. We have to start building that child up by talking to that child and start this dialogue of, you are fantastic. You are amazing. You are this. You are all of who you are. So I want to go back and just ask everybody out there, what didn't you hear? What didn't you hear from mom and dad when you were growing up? You know, for me, it was always about baseball was my first passion. Never heard from my father once, you're good. You're good. You're really good. Never heard it, because they had their path. He didn't ever think he was good enough. So the way in which we could break that, from my experience of not getting that reinforcement and that nurturing as a child, is that we've got to begin to do it for ourselves. We have to reparent that child, talk to that wounded child inside of us, and start building ourselves up from the inside out. And as Charles just said, the people outside of us who are reinforcing us.
Yeah.
So we have friends, we have loved ones. As Charles just said, you know, Charles, can't you see what I see? And we go off wondering, wow, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
We see your greatness. We see your powerfulness. We see all of this in you, but you don't see it yet, or you might not see it yet.
Yeah.
So, and then it's a challenge for us to even have a frame of reference inside of ourselves when somebody says, wow, you're amazing. You're fantastic. You know, you're really, really wonderful at all of that. And then where is our frame of reference with that? So the way in which there is no frame of reference, because we never received it from mom and dad. We never received any of that. We never heard it. At least that's my experience. So what I needed to do was I needed to start a dialogue, and even journal and write a lot, and really start looking in the mirror and building that little child up inside of me by, you know, doing the work and doing what needs to be done.
Beautiful, beautiful. Jeff, I want to take a moment here real quick, just to piggyback on something that Donna K. Rivera said. I felt loved by my parents, but I always heard you can do better. That is such a powerful statement, because, you know, if let's say you got a B on a test, and you did all that you can do, you showed up, you studied, but you couldn't get the A.
True.
But you hear a message when you get home, you get the download from your parent that says, well, why didn't you get an A? And if they, and it's sometimes it's the tone they used, facial expression they gave. Sometimes it's a combination of it all. But what you're hearing is I'm not enough. It could be that simple.
Yep.
That simple of a tattoo. It doesn't have to be a colorful, big tattoo, a sleeve arm tattoo. It's just got to be big enough to touch you.
Yeah.
And you're tagged for life, and you're always going to be pushing to strive to be that A student.
Yep. And then what happens is then that begins the wound of thinking you always have to please everybody and prove to everybody who you are.
Yeah.
That's the seed that starts the people pleasing. I need to please everybody, and I need to prove to everybody who I am. So you spend the whole life of pleasing everyone or thing you are, or the cycle that you're trying to prove. And that's the seed there.
And we could break that cycle. You know, that's the thing. You know, I never heard the word "I love you." You know, and even now, I don't hear that word. You know, my father passed in 2016. I don't hear that word so much from my mom. You know, that's a real word. But I say it all the time to my children because I want to break that cycle. And I think at times, you know, we will encounter people who will even as I've been in this growth period right now with you guys and the people watching, where I had to question myself because somebody made me have to question my worth. So we will encounter people who will want to trip us up and stumble us, man, and have us looking in the mirror and wondering, are we enough? It's just a matter of, it's just life that we will have to deal with that. Whether it's business, relationship, religion, the space that you were in, right? Because even religion has us questioning at times, are we enough, right? So you organize religion where we're always trying to have to do this and do that and make sure we're doing enough. So we're always questioning ourselves, always doubting ourselves. But I kind of focus on those people, man, who say, man, brother, you are enough. And I honor those people. And there's some people, those right here, right now, who are on with us right now, who honor us, who honor the work we're doing, whether it's as a group or personally. And those are the ones that I attract to. Those are the ones that I cling to. And I thank them for allowing us to see that we are enough, and actually more than enough. We're not just enough, we're excess.
Beautiful. Love that. Yeah.
Baby.
Charles, what you just,
Go ahead.
you just said is that it's limitless.
Yes.
When we use that word enough, truly we're I think there's a misunderstanding as we're diving into this, because enough has parameters around it. And why should we set ourselves up with parameters? Because what's the parameter is judgment. We're judging that it is enough. Now, here's the thing. I'm not advocating that we should just continue to chase and not live. That's not what I'm suggesting by any means. What I'm suggesting is that no matter where you're at in your life, it's enough. It should be more than enough. And I think really for me, what I mean by that is what enough is it's about self-love. It's not about how many things I've accumulated in my life. I had all those things. And, you know, the funny thing is, just about a month or so ago, my ex-wife and I had a conversation, and she started asking me about all these things that we once had. And she didn't remember what we had done with them all when we went our separate ways. And she was like going through the inventory list. And it was really interesting because I didn't have any recollection either, other than the fact that I know I gave a lot of it away. Yeah. The point being is that even when you accumulate and you have what's viewed as success in life, there's no guarantee you're ever going to have enough. And most of the time, it's not. Because when we reach that goal, then what do? Now we need to set the bar higher. Ev, what do you make of this?
Go ahead, Ev.
Yeah, exactly what you were just saying there. But I just want to piggyback quickly to what you were saying on how do we start this. The key of this game, as you know, is awareness. That's your first step. Awareness is the name of the game. Otherwise, you just keep repeating these cycles of time, the unconscious patterns that your body's taken on into the memory of the cells and downloaded. So the number one step is getting back to your body. Start connecting again. Start looking after your body. We've been disconnected from the body for so long. And that's why I preach this day and day and day. No matter whether it's on my videos, whether it's with my clients, my family, friends, we've got to start looking after the body and make sure that we're building this badass 5-dimensional body, which we're living in this planet right now. So once we start to reconnect with the body, we start to become aware of some of those unconscious programs and patterns that have downloaded from our childhood. Then we have a stepping stone. We have a blueprint. Then we can start reprogramming and into the body and creating the memory that we do want. What do we want to program into this software now? Well, I'm sure everyone wants to be happy out there. We've got to start focusing on habits that are going to keep your mood up. You know, everything's coming from these thoughts, creating these feelings. So we've got to really focus on what we're focusing on. We've got to focus on those habits, those behaviors, and make sure the people within our life are creating relationships that make us feel strong, that make us feel empowered, that make us feel valuable. So when we have that environment, the cells are happy to play then. The inner child feels looked after. It feels secure. It feels safe. Then we can start imagining the life we do truly want to live down here. Because until that stuff starts to come through, what we're talking about, and mind you, we've got to take responsibility. We can't keep blaming mum and dad.
No.
Take ownership of this ship.
That's it.
Come back to self. Nothing out here can be more valuable than the love that you have for you.
Speak it, brother. Speak it. Hey, real quick, I gotta say what's up to Walter Scott Kiesling. Man, we got to get him on this show too as well. Mary Kelly for holding us down. Robert Brooker, real quick. Donna for showing up all the time.
100%.
Real quick. Emily for showing up all the time. Brandy for showing up. Sherry for showing up all the time. Donna for showing up all the time. I'm blessed to be here. And once again, we are enough. Don't ever let anyone make you feel that you are not enough. You are more than enough. Remember that. We were created, man, to be amazing. We were created to be the best that we could be. You are enough. You are loved. You are blessed. If you are not seeing those things come into fruition in your life, be around, attract other people that do see what you are. Let's be around, even in this group right now. This group right now was pulled together. Right? We're not average. We're not run of the mill. This group was brought together, man, and pulled together because of the energies.
Yeah, brother.
We're not over here questioning ourselves or doubting ourselves or falling into a space that is unknown. We know what we are, or we're trying to understand fully, and blessing those who see what we are as we grow.
Love that, brother.
You know what I love?
It's on fire, man.
There are so many bombs being dropped tonight. I think it was Robert Brooker that said, "Boy, I'd love to get in your head for an hour." And, I'd like to challenge you. I'd like to invite you to be a real man right now. Okay, not that you haven't been, but take it to the next level. What's it like being in your head for an hour a day?
Robert Brooker.
I said, Robert, man, I don't think you want that, my brother. Look, we're having fun here on Real Men, Real Talk Live. And up in this head, man, I'm all about play. I said this a couple of weeks ago. And I was demonized for being a kid out here on game time. Man, this is what we've got to light up. We've got to stay lit. We've been shit. We've been shit as adults to this point. So we've got to start lighting up. We're having a laugh here tonight. We're able to have an adult conversation where we're talking these big words, big games. But as the inner child, now we can start playing out here and creating a playground that we truly want to live. Because up in this head at the moment, you're just seeing balance. It's just balance. Just balance, Jay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was actually Chad that posed the question. He goes on to say now, I would take a lot with me when I left. And, you know, Chad, hold on one second here. Chad, my answer to that is that you can do that. It's called practice. And I know you know that.
Yeah, man.
Practice is how Evis got to where he's at. Practice is how we get to where we are. It's not like that self-help book that a lot of them don't work because we're not working it. We get inspired by it. We put it back on the shelf when we're done, and then we get back into a flow of our routine. And what we are all learning in this group of men, these real men right here in the studio, is that we practice a different level of commitment to ourselves every single day. It's simple, not easy, because we got to break the cycle of how we showed up for ourselves for decades. But it's possible. It's possible. How I know that is because I work it every day. How I know it is because I watch Ev work it every day down under. It's possible because the way Jeff Fasano shows up, we know he's working it.
Hey, hold on. And I gotta say something. And this is a moment here. I want to really say that I appreciate all of you guys. I see the work that Jeff does. I see how passionate he is. I know that, you know, because of the whole coronavirus right now, Jeff is not able to, you know, to really do the amazing talents that Jeff has as far as photography. And I can't wait to do a shoot with him. But I see how he's metamorphosized into something. I see, you know, Evis making these amazing videos and really putting all of this stuff out. You guys are promoting Jay, doing everything that you guys done. I have to say, while I'm here, I'm pushing. And I want you guys to realize that I'm fighting for us to get where we have to get. I'm working on other shows too as well. But Real Men, Real Talk for me is something that is dear to my heart. So if I'm not in that moment all the time, don't realize, don't forget. And I don't want you to know that I'm not where I need to be. And I'm working and I'm trying to make sure it gets where it needs to be. So I hope you guys realize I'm enough. And I'm just
and that's absolutely beautiful, brother. If you've never heard it before, my brother, I love you. I love you.
Trust me, brother. I'm working. I just had to say that because I don't want, you know, I know we're separate, and I see the efforts that you guys are making. I see what you've done with the Facebook, with the websites, with the post. But know that I'm working it. Trust me, and I'm working it.
My man.
I'm gonna get it there for us, brother. I'm gonna get it there for us. So I just wanted to share that. You know.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
Yes. So.
Hey, could I just wanted to pop back in because Jay, and thank you for that, Charles.
Yes, brother.
I was almost rendered speechless.
I'm gonna do a nude photo shoot with you, Jay. With Jeff. I want all of this to be seen, baby.
Love it.
But Jay touched on something that is it's probably the most important thing. When I first started working on myself, like back in 1999, 20-something years ago, with my healer, teacher, mentor in New York, Robert Baker, one of the things he said to me was, "You'll be developing a new practice." And I said, "Okay, tell me more." And then he says, "We're going to be, going in deep within you to remember you. But it's going to be a practice. And if you're committed to that self-growth, you're going to be moving into a new practice, which is a bit challenging." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because how much have you practiced the old so much? How much have you reinforced by yourself and practiced all of the old that you've learned all the way up until now?" And I was 40 years old when I started doing this work. So the most important thing, and Jay hit the nail on the head. We can go to the next big intensive for 3 days. We can go to the next group seminar for the next 2 days. We can hit this on Sunday. We can go to Agape on Sunday. We could read this book and that book. The question is that what you're really doing is just going out and getting the hit from outside of yourself for a couple of days. And you're going to get the hit from the book, and you're going to get hit from going to see this on Sunday. And you're going to keep on getting those hits. The most important thing, because that's the nervous system needing a hit or a jolt. It's really the wounded child needing the hit to saying, "You're amazing, you're fantastic, we love you, look at this." You sit down, you do your list and everything, you buddy up with another partner at the next intensive that you're looking for, the next master class that you're looking for. And then you accumulate all this, and then you just go back after those 3 days and go slide right back into the old life. The people who really want to grow and move into remembering innately who they are, who you are, will begin this practice and continue the practice every single day. And you're not making a commitment to anyone outside of you. This is a commitment. If you really, really, truly love yourself, you'll make this commitment to yourself.
And just remember, everybody on here, you have already won. You have already won. You don't need to prove anything to anyone else. Many of you are professionals. Many of you have achieved things. Many of you have climbed those mountains. You, Donna, you have already won. Walter, you have already won. This is our time to shine. We have already won. We have already looked inside of ourselves. We are worthy, and abundance is upon us. Let not forget what we have done so far, what we have yet to do. You have already won.
Yeah. Robert here says, operate outside your comfort zone regularly. And celebrate all victories, no matter how small. It's an interesting statement that you share, Robert. I thank you, and I really appreciate you participating. But I'd like to break down my interpretation of this statement. He says, operate outside of your comfort zone regularly. Totally agree. What I'm going to kind of rephrase it, paraphrase what you just said in one word. It's called courage. It takes courage to operate outside of your comfort zone regularly. But when we step into courage, we break through and break free to see how much superpowers we actually have. Because the only thing holding us back are our own downloaded thoughts and messages and stories that we've been living in forever. It also says, celebrate all victories. Now, that's an interesting statement there. I spent a lifetime celebrating the wins of my life. But for me, it was always celebration in the ego state. And I didn't take the time, even when I would win something, to really process, what did I learn from that experience? How did I grow? So that for me today, I really like to celebrate in a new way. And for me, celebrating is about kind of going a little further back in, not standing on a table and dancing as I've done in the past, but going in and saying, really looking at it from a standpoint of humility and honoring what I learned about myself, honoring the growth that I had, honoring the victory, honoring the courage that it took. And when he says, no matter how small, spot on. We don't need to be measuring anymore if it's an A, B, C, or D, or by height, or by width or girth. We just have to be willing to say, for today, thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful. And it's more than enough. It's infinite. That's how I show up. And today, it wasn't always that way, Robert. I really appreciate your statement. I just wanted to break it down just a little bit more and acknowledge you and how I interpreted that for myself and how I choose to live today. Ed, what's on your mind right now? I see some smoke coming.
Oh man, what another show! Breathtaking. That's why, Jay. That's what the smoke's lit. But yeah, man. You were talking a little bit about goals as well before. We try and create these goals to give our sense of achievement and to give our wow moment and these sort of things in life. I was talking about this cycle the other day because we get painted all these things to believe we're enough after we achieve some of these goals. And what I see with a lot of people that I help, on their health, fitness, and wellness journeys, many people, even after they reach these goals or seek these goals, still feel empty and that nothing has changed around them. So for me, that's quite freeing. That is quite liberating, that now we can understand, understand and overstand that we don't need anything external, person, place, or thing to bring happiness, value, sense of self-worth, joy, love, peace, harmony into our life. We can do it here, right now. So, like Jeff said, this is going to take practice. This is no different from us going to the gym, trying to break down a few muscles to grow. This is no different from creating a healthier lifestyle for ourselves. We've all been broken some way this year. Put your hand up if you haven't. I'd find it really surprising that in some way, shape, or form, someone hasn't felt any pain, any neglect, any humiliation, or sense of grief that's kept them triggered into past programs, patterns, or something that needs to be healed. Because once we start, like I said, healing some of this stuff, we start to set ourselves free. We start to practice our daily habits that keep us lit in these high vibrations, making sure that we nurture these relationships around us that keep us feeling that sense that I am enough. And to me, my brother, that is the key. It really is, to really see that we are enough in our life right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Who
do we got there, Charles?
Oh, we got Noel.
Hi, Noel.
Say hi, Noel.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hey.
No. Well,
He is enough, and I let him know every day and the rest of them that they are enough and that they're amazing. And I break the cycle that I didn't have, that I didn't have that love, and I didn't have that, and I let them know every day. Right, baby boy? Give me a kiss. You ready? Okay, go ahead.
hey, Charles, before, we just lost him. All right. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, you're up, buddy.
Bye-bye.
What Evis just said was fantastic, and it's about creating. If you're in a constant cycle of, like Evis just said, you reach something, you reach that goal, you create something you want to create, and then you're on to the next one, the next one, the next one, seeking validation. I mean, I did that as a photographer for a while. If you didn't like my work, I was crushed because I looked at my work at a certain time that what I was doing, because I'm an artist and I'm expressing myself, is an extension of me. And if you didn't like that, my self-worth was diminished in some way. So I had to work through that. But what I needed to create was a place in my soul and my heart for all of the wonderful stuff coming, everything that you accomplished, everything that I set out to do. And then even with the relationships that I have, when somebody says, I love you, you're amazing, I had to create a place in my heart for all of that to land. I had to find a place in my heart and create that place through the work, through of letting go of the old programming, the conditioning. So there was a place inside of me for, Jeff, great job. We love you. You're wonderful. For some place for that to land. So it's about clearing out that old wounding, that old conditioning. So you create a place in you that's not emptiness. And you're not seeking it from outside of yourself, but you're creating a place in your heart for it to land. Because here's the thing. When somebody says you're amazing, you're fantastic, and you're wonderful, all they are is affirming what you already know.
Yeah, brother.
It's just an affirmation of what you already know. But it's about practicing to get to that place. Because if somebody says, I love you, you're amazing, and you're fantastic, and I love your work, and all that good stuff, the old conditioning will use that as validation. So we got to move from where it's validation outside of ourselves to an affirmation of what I already know about myself.
And real quick, Jeff, I've been looking at some of your work, man, and as a director, man, you've got an eye, and it's to see how you set up some of those things, to see the heart that you have, because when you see some of those people that you have, some of them are celebrities, some are regular people, but you capture some stuff that is really, Jeff, you got it going on as far as that, man. You don't ever forget that, Jeff. You are capturing moments that will last forever in people's lives. Don't forget that, Jeff. You're a bad mother effer, right?
Thank you, my friend.
Jeff, let me ask you, how is it for you to sit here, right now, and receive these words from Charles? How do you receive it? How do you take it in? How do you process it? How does it make you feel? One of your favorite lines I'm now mirroring back to you in this moment.
Wonderful. I'm going to start crying.
Oh,
good.
Oh,
beautiful.
Oh, Jeff, Jeff.
It touches my heart so deeply, and the reason why I get emotional with it is because it's landing. It's landing inside of me so deeply. And I feel touched. I feel grateful. I feel acknowledged. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel amazing with it. I know it. I've practiced enough to know it, but I'm touched. I'm really touched deeply, and also it's hitting that wound that's still there of my little boy of never hearing that from mom or dad. And I could feel that little boy wanting to wail and say, I've never heard that before. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful for that mirror, Charles. Thank you.
Don't let this time, Jeff, even though we're going through this pandemic, don't let that dim what you are and what you have already done. Because right now we cannot all reach potential that we want to because we're held captive.
Yeah.
But I haven't, you know, and as much as I'm in the public eye, I haven't said to too many people, I haven't said to anybody that I want them to film me or want them to do a photo shoot of me. And I feel that comfortable with you that I'm ready to fly to Tennessee and do something with you just because I know that you will capture me the way I need to be captured. Jeff, you have lived the life. You have seen it, you have done it, you have tasted it. You are more than enough. You are beyond exceptional. Don't ever forget that, brother.
Thank you, man. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ev, will you make another Love Fest, Ev?
Oh man, I love Romance on Real Men Real Talk, brother. I mean, boys, it's the morning here in the land down under, but I'm ready to go to sleep, man. Sweet dreams, brothers.
He's
magic. And this is the magic of the vulnerability. It is the true strength on this planet right now. Real men turning up from a heart space, dripping down from that mental space that we've been locked in for far too long, and talking like real men. You know, happy to let go of some tears, of sadness and joy, and that brings balance to this masculine, this feminine energy that we're all trying to seek here on planet Earth right now.
You know, I just want to.
Of course.
Somebody just, I don't know who it was, in there said, when someone would say, and I'm paraphrasing here, when someone would compliment me, I used to find a way to deflect it. It used to be so challenging for me to sit there and hear that years ago and not say something afterwards to deflect it, and be in it. Robert Baker gave me an amazing exercise to do years ago, that if something wonderful happens in your life, ask the question, something wonderful happens. What is the first thing that you do? It's a good question. I mean, I'm asking everybody out there right now, and to Jay and to S and to Charles, what is the first thing that you do when something wonderful happens in your life? Years ago, my first reaction would be to call somebody and tell them this wonderful thing that happened. And I didn't receive it for myself. And so Robert gave me an amazing exercise. When something wonderful happens, raise your awareness and consciousness to the first thing that you do.
Yeah, great question.
And then he said, Jeff, if you can give yourself an hour to be with it and sit with it, then call somebody.
Beautiful, Jeff.
It's a question to find out about where you are, how much self-love we have for ourselves.
Yeah, Jeff, I'd like to just break it down from my interpretation of what you just shared. Is that the reason that that's suggested to do is because it gives you the opportunity to spend that time with self, really digesting and processing the experience and what it brings forward for you.
Yep.
Because when we just put it out there in the universe to tell everybody, basically we're renting a billboard off the 405 in Southern California. We want everyone to know. Because look at me, look what I just did. Well, look what just happened. So that's a beautiful Throw Liquid Gold moment. That is a bomb drop right there. For everyone that watch us live or on replay, try that. I remember that brings me back to when I proposed to Mary in this remote cave that we had a rope climb up into. And as soon as we got out of the cave, there's that little boy, that little part of me that, of course, wants to tell people. That's part of us being human. That child inside is excited, right? Yeah. What we did instead was we dropped into this canyon wall and hiked for a solid couple hours. No cell service. It was stripped from us. We had no ability to share it with anyone else except ourselves in that moment. And it wasn't until we were tired, emotionally, not in a bad way, but I think just we were done, physically tired, emotionally from the event, from the excitement of the unknown. Then Mary started calling people that she wanted to know. And that's just, you reminded me of that, unknowing that's what we had done until this moment. But it truly is a beautiful way to honor yourself and respect yourself before you give it out to the world, because you know it sometimes happens too, Jeff Fasano, is not everybody receives it the same way you do. If you have a naysayer in your life, if you have a devil's advocate, I had one for decades in my life.
Yeah, man.
No matter what you think is worth celebrating, they're going to tell you why, well, maybe it's not such a good thing. So be very careful on who you celebrate with.
Yeah, man.
True.
Yeah, man.
True.
As Charles said earlier tonight, you're going to celebrate with the people who celebrate you.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we
And there's a difference in knowing that.
You said it before too, Jay, when we talked privately about people keeping score. At times there's people, man, keeping score of everything that you're saying, everything that you're doing. Celebrate those who celebrate you. I'm at that stage right now where the people that I allow around me, yeah, they appreciate who and what I am. I'm enough to them. I'm more than enough to them. I'm a gift to them. And I don't say that in a cocky way. I want to be that because I give out so much and receive that. I don't want to be anybody's issue or anybody's toxicity or anybody's drama. I want to be that gift. And they see that. Whether I'm right or wrong, whether I'm up or down, whether I have flaws or issues, they look past that. Donna, man, and I'm just calling her out because that's a friend and a lover of the show. Donna, baby girl, you are more than enough.
Yeah, man.
You are more than enough. You're a talented, gifted woman who has a great job, a career you're ready to give. Donna, you're more than enough. Realize that, big girl. That's all I have to say.
Well, it's not quite over, Charles. You're going to be given an opportunity to have one more chance here. It's time of the show. We are actually over the hour. I was so distracted in flow that I was not paying attention. But you know what that means? it's time for musical chairs.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
So the way this game is played is wherever you land, when you land to my right, that means you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to drop a bomb, close us out with either final thoughts from the show and or a bomb. A bomb that will bring some answers to somebody that needs to hear it right now. So, are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Bring it on, Jay Roster, man.
All right.
Ready.
Whoa!
I figured since you're in,
I'm ready.
I knew it wasn't going to be me because I was already there.
I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. So no, I
got
just
2 minutes, Charles.
and I don't even need to. I just want to say that, you know what, once again, I'm grateful for those who have shown up today, because they could have been anywhere. Today's a Friday night. They could have been anywhere, but their maturity level, their understanding of who we are and what we're trying to bring, their support of what we're trying to do, even on this level, but on a much bigger level, because we have goals of this show that could see us nationwide easily and touching lives. So I just want to more give respect and honor to those, and those who are worthy, those who are touching us and allowing us to touch them. And we are worthy of that and even more. And I forget the topic of the freaking show tonight.
Enough's enough, brother.
Enough is enough. We are more than enough.
Yeah, baby.
We are more than enough. You were not here to be shrunken, to come into second place. You were here to win, to be the best that you can be. We were created by a divine force that made us into people that could hear through these ears, see through these eyes of color, breathe through this nose, taste. You are a miraculous piece of work. You are more than enough. That's all I got to say, brothers.
Beautiful, brother.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charles.
Oh!
I'm back. Wow. I want to go back to where I started tonight about saying that, am I enough? Am I worthy enough? Am I worthy at all? Is and has been for a very long time one of my biggest challenges. And if someone came to me and said what Charles said to me tonight, whether it was a man or a woman, my wounding was so deep that I would look at them and say, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? You're complimenting me. You're not sincere. What do you want from me? You want something from me. That's how deep it was for me to even contemplate on some level that I was lovable, that I was worthy. It was always about, you want something from me. There was no place for any of this to land. So if many people out there feel that, know, as Charles just said, you are worthy. But as Jay said earlier, folks, if it is you that you truly, truly want to remember, the essence of you, the multidimensional being that you are, to move into that soul space, to be so fulfilled and consumed, not from an ego place, by you. So everything that happens outside of you comes to you. It's an affirmation. And when you get to that place through a practice, a personal practice and a commitment to yourself, because like I just said, there was no place for a compliment or an I love you in me to land. And I had to work and commit to myself, because it was so sad for me when somebody said, I love you. I had a friend who threw me my friend Alexandra threw me a surprise party in New York City, and I wondered why for weeks. There was no place in here for any of that to land. The wounding was, you want something from me. You tell me you love me, but you really want something from me. So I've practiced and gone deep inside of me enough so I can sit and hear Charles and have a place for that to land inside of me. And I'm getting to that place at 62 years old where it's an affirmation and I know it. And I do get very touched. And I have created in me a place for it to land through the commitment and practice of remembering who I truly am in my heart place and my soul space.
Yes, Jeff.
Beautiful, brother.
Yes, man. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Felt that, my brother.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. And I know
it was
you, Jeff. I know it's a difficult time.
it was crazy at times.
Yeah.
That's how deep my wounding went with all of that.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is, Jeff, is you're not there today. You've come a long way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And well, I'll save my comments for you when I got my 2 minutes. But it's time for musical chairs.
Whoa!
There you go.
I'm gonna keep this sweet. I'm gonna keep this short, and I just want to thank all of my brothers and sisters out there in the collective, as always, on the other side of the pond in the land down under. Without you guys out there supporting this show, it wouldn't be happening. It'd just be 4 or 5 brothers without our brother who was sorely missed tonight, Josh Richer, sitting around having a little bit of a yarn, as we would say here in the land down under. But to me, my brothers and sisters, I want you to ask this question. Ask this question right here, right now. Do you think you deserve the things you want in life? Do you think you deserve the things you want in life?
Okay.
Or are you going to keep self-sabotaging yourself and keep yourselves miserable? Because we can keep ourselves miserable, but we can also see ourselves living the life of the higher self that we truly want to be. And there's only one person that's responsible for that. And that's you, brothers and sisters. That's me. Look yourself in the mirror now. I dare you to say you're good enough. I am good enough. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take courage, as J. Roth the man says. We're still living in fear, brothers and sisters. And whatever force has been keeping us underneath this claw for so long, it's doing its best to keep us under that fear. But look at fear as just the unknown. To make that unknown less fearful, you've got to make it known. Create those habits, I said. Create a mood that keeps you on the higher vibrations and allow the brothers and sisters in your life to keep you on that frequency to come into your life. Game time is over from the old dimension, the old 3D. We're in the 5th dimension now, where it's all about unlimited potential. Are you living your unlimited potential by saying you're not good enough? You know, a lot of us, we've been given so much bloody permission to the external world for our happiness, for our joy, our love, our peace, and our harmony. And at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, the only person you had to convince all along was you.
Is you. Is you.
So on that note, my brothers and sisters, I want you to say to yourself tonight, I'm safe.
Mm.
I am secure.
Mm.
I am more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And peace be with you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So here's my question.
How did you do that?
Magic.
You know, I don't. It's really difficult for me in this moment to say anything more than what has been said in these closing thoughts. You guys are just amazing. You guys brought it home one more time. You guys are why we do this show. It's to bring hope and inspiration to our viewers, our fans, our listeners, for them to begin to believe it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I talk about breaking a chain to the old stories, to the words, to the messages that we received before we were even born, when we were being carried in a mom. Ask yourself, is it true? Is it true?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer will always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
No. No, it's not true. It's not true because it's not now. It was then. The future is now here. Yeah. This is your time. This is Charles' time. This is Joss's time. Evis's, Jeffersano's, Chad's, Mary's, all of our times. It's time for us to just say, it's not true.
Best of times.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. It's okay to say that word. Stop. Stop it. When you hear yourself in it, give yourself permission to just say, just stop it. It's not true. Deny it as a truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then step in and parent that incredibly beautiful younger child that's still alive within you. And you tell them it's true. You tell them what they need to hear, what they've been waiting to hear a lifetime from you, which is that they are more than enough, that you love them, that they're beautiful, and that you do matter. And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. It's not about the show. It's about the message. On Real Men, Real Talk Live. Be safe, stay healthy. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on Real Men, Real Talk Live. I love you guys. Good night.
Peace.